Welcome. You're listening to the Plant-Based Diet Podcast. I'm Phoebe Chongchua. On today's show, we have a special guest, Dorit. She shares her story about a food allergy that was literally killing her, what she had to do to heal her body. Plus, Dorit is also the founder of the Green Lifestyle Network. She's an author and a raw food chef. She shares why she thinks changing your diet and life begin with changing your thoughts. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dorit. Dorit, welcome. So glad to have you here.
Thank you, Phoebe.
We share so many of the same common interests, from yoga to healthy plant-based eating. And I want you to tell your story a little bit about how you became first vegetarian, then vegan. What was happening in your life that made you go on the journey of becoming vegan?
Well, I was a vegetarian as a teenager, and I was told by a doctor that I could never eat dairy again because I was very, very sick, extremely sick. And he put me on an experiment where I was on dairy for a few weeks, then off for the same amount of weeks, then on again. And he was supposed to have done this in 3 stages, but by the second stage he said, "We don't need to do this anymore. You are obviously severely allergic. This will kill you." And so I was taken off dairy, which was a problem because the vegetarianism was never an issue. I never even said to anybody I was vegetarian. Nobody ever knew because it wasn't a big issue. But when I became vegan, it became a huge issue. And then I moved to France. And then where even the vegetarianism was a problem, much less the vegan, that became even bigger issue. I developed severe bronchitis in France, not because I was eating the dairy, but there was little bits in foods that I didn't know. Croissant, I would eat a croissant every now and then, so there's butter in there. I would eat foods that were supposed to be dairy-free, but they would put butter in it, and so I was still getting sick from that, even a tiny amount. So, I mean, I've gone to homes where people have made dinners, and they said, okay, she doesn't eat meat, she doesn't eat chicken. What? She doesn't eat fish either? And then they'll say, dairy? What do you mean she doesn't eat dairy? But they'll put some and they'll go, oh, just a little bit won't kill her. But actually, me, yes, it will kill me. I almost died.
Wow. So this is a severe allergic reaction that you're having to dairy. Was it something in particular in the dairy?
I have no idea. I was a teenager at the time. I was really not interested in what it was. I was just interested in staying alive. I was very weak when I went to the doctors. I really wasn't interested. I was just glad that I had a solution.
And this was in your birthplace in Israel.
This was in Israel, and the doctors at the time were very, very, very tuned in with nutrition extremely. So the first thing that he did was test me for dairy.
And you have written books. You have a wealth of information on your various sites. One of them I'm on is serenityspaces.org. You, of course, also have the Lifestyles Network, Green Lifestyles Network, which is a nonprofit that connects people around the world through stories of sustainable living to find out what living sustainably really means. And I love that because here at the Plant-Based Diet, we have a similar mission as part of our 1 million person challenge to get people to follow a plant-based lifestyle. And the fourth component of that is to give back to a charity and to live sustainably, in addition to eating a plant-based diet, keeping, a positive attitude and exercising daily. Tell me a little bit more about the Green Lifestyles Network.
Well, the network actually is the granddaughter of what I did before. I started a raw lifestyle film festival. I just did it to try it out to see how many people were interested in watching films to show their own stories about what happened when they followed a raw lifestyle, raw meaning living foods, but plant-based, only plant-based. And it was quite remarkable how many people came and how many films had been made, and there was no place to show them. And so that developed into the Green Lifestyle Film Festival. And then we grew beyond that, blogs, podcasts. Now we're going to be launching next year. We're going to be launching in 2014 a Green Lifestyle TV channel. And much like your TV channel, which I love. And really, it's to give a voice to the voiceless. It's to give, I think, the journalism and most network, in fact, in the U.S., I would say all the networks that I've seen thus far, there is no voice for people. It's the voice of the corporations, the voice of whoever is funding the sponsorship, the commercials for the program at the time. Even the news is funded. The news has commercials, which I find very strange. And so, of course, the news is going to be slanted. How could it not be? And I think that people have a voice. People need a voice, and that's why YouTube has been so popular, why Facebook and Twitter, it's giving people their voices back. I'm into storytelling. I believe people have incredible stories. People are lying down in bed right now, depressed, feeling that there is no reason for them to live. They're useless, that there's no worth in their own lives, in their own being. And it's only because they have a story that is brilliant and that must get out, and nobody is giving them a chance, or they themselves are not giving them a chance to tell it. And so we want to be that place where they will come, that medium where they will come and give their stories. We do have, of course, strict guidelines like no foul language, no demeaning of people, no harm to animals or children or other beings. And we very much want people to use the language of non-aggressive communication. So we do have guidelines. So, yes, it's edited stuff. People cannot just blurt out anger and venom. It has to come from the highest place within the person, because I believe that film or voice, music, art, what we eat, what we wear, really signifies who we are, and that we need to do everything, feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, entertain ourselves from the highest part of our being and not from the lowest denominator within our being, which I believe is what network media pulls out and glorifies in people.
Well, having worked in network media for a very long time, I can tell you that, yes, it's not the same space that you're talking about here. And certainly there's a fondness that I have, having started my career there, and there's some good to what the media is trying to do. But one thing that I can say is it seems to me the whole plant-based, whole foods plant-based diet, even vegan, has gotten some publicity, but often it's mocked and does not really have the voice that it should have out in the community. Now I'm noticing more hospitals, at least I read recently that Kaiser Permanente is recommending to its doctors to tell their patients to eat a whole food plant-based diet. And I just find that is a huge step. It's remarkable. But you're absolutely right. There's a need to get this out, because when you see it in the media, it's often looked at like how absurd to stop eating dairy or to stop eating meat. How can anyone live?
And how absolutely nonsensical to not eat cooked food. And how could you be so crazy as to even imagine that you could eat only living foods, and that there's such a thing as only cooked foods, and living foods have no nutrients whatsoever. I find it weird that people think that living foods are harmful. Right. Obviously, we share a lot. So now let's talk a little bit about the San Diego Veg Fest. Tell me a little bit about getting involved with San Diego Veg Festival. So last year was the first year for the San Diego Veg Festival, and Linda, who is the founder, invited me to come and do a live demo on stage there, a food preparation demo. So I did that, and I also had a booth there, and I really enjoyed it thoroughly. I think Linda does an absolutely tremendous job with it. I think she needs to be highly commended, because she pretty much put on that festival almost by herself, which is how I started out as well. And so I understand that it takes every single iota of energy that someone has to do something like that. And I think it's so courageous on her part to have done it and then put on another one immediately after this year. And I think her vision is outstanding because she's putting on a whole green setting stage. To have a whole stage dedicated to green setting, I think, is incredible. And she's really doing a great pulling together many different aspects of a life that's really fully equipped with life-enhancing tools.
Yes. And the San Diego Veg Festival, in case anyone's listening and wants to attend, it's coming up pretty quickly. It's coming up this Saturday, which is November 9th from 10 in the morning to 5 o'clock. It, of course, is in the San Diego area. In North Park, you can log on to San Diego Veg Festival.com for more information. San Diego Veg Festival.com to get tickets. They're rather inexpensive, so you can come out and, for few bucks or so, have a great time, learn a lot. Tell me a little bit more, Dorit, about people who might be interested in this lifestyle, in eating raw, in eating plant-based. Of course, there's resources like your network. There's resources like the plantbasedchallenge.com, which is a mission that we've launched, an initiative to get 1 million to sign a pledge and a petition to make really those in hospitals, in schools, and in various high-powered positions that are creating foods to really take a look at the type of foods that we want in the marketplace available to everyone, which is real, not manufactured in a plant. But tell us a little bit about how, from your perspective, can people get more involved and understand this? Because a lot of people do think it's very, very difficult to live this lifestyle.
Well, first, may I commend you on this challenge because I think it's a very worthy challenge. I think you should raise the bar to more than 1 million because if each person that is listening tells 10 other people and they tell 10 others, within a weekend there can be 100 people who had no idea about any of this and whose lives will be so enriched, and even lives that may be saved as a result of this. So thank you for doing that. To respond to your question, a lot of people, Phoebe, believe that their lives are the way it is, and it's not because of anything they've done. Most people believe this is my life, whether I like it or not, this is what I have, this is what I've been dealt. I've been dealt these cards. It is so far from the truth. We are very powerful beings. We are enormously powerful beings. In fact, so powerful that we create the lives for ourselves. Now, we might ask, but I hate all these experiences I had today. That's not me. I didn't create that. You might not have created those exact experiences, but the place where that experience is taking you or those experiences are taking you, that's what you created. This is just the path to it. Had we been clearer, we might have asked for a different path. But when we leave that path and we do not actually actively participate in it, then that's why these things happen and just bring us to the place. But I think trust is lacking. We take all of our guidance from commercials. And for the commercial, I mean not just the ads that come on TV, in the cinema, in our magazines, etc. But people love to say one-liners. And it's interesting how I've paid attention to this, even I don't know, having worked in, I noticed it. But a lot of the anchors and the people, especially talk shows in mainstream media, happen to mimic exactly what the commercials say. And people, if you hear something long enough, all of us, all humans, if we hear something long enough, we begin to believe it. And we don't question it. And so we just accept that that is what it is. I believe there's a part of us that's alive in every being, no matter how depressed, no matter how sick, no matter how turned off, no matter how depressed or ill-fitted we are to live a different kind of life. Ill-fitted meaning maybe we're missing a leg, an arm, where we don't have full vision, things like that. And I'm talking about physical vision, but that just gives us something else. Somebody who doesn't have full physical vision might have big internal vision, which is the greatest gift. So we all have to find out the parts of ourselves that we need to fully develop and stop downplaying ourselves as powerful, rich human beings. Once we do that, I think we will no longer be hypnotized about the social hysteria that's running around all around us through music. I mean, if you listen to the words of some music, they are extremely depressing. They're putting us down, and they're putting somebody else down, whether it's country music or hip-hop or just regular rock music, whatever. The words are very critical with what we hear and what we say every day, what the words that come out of our mouth either raises our energy or depletes it. Every word we use has a direct physical response in the body. And we can raise our energies to the point where we are energized and we feel totally radiant and full of life, or we can feel depressed, depleted, lethargic, restless, listless. And we talk ourselves into this, and this is why I think languaging is critical. I think if somebody wants to change, it's not enough to tell people you have to change your diet first. I don't agree with that. I think we need to change our languaging. Once we change the language, we get out of the places we're stuck. We're stuck only because of the thoughts that we keep repeating over and over and over. And those thoughts, the tools behind those thoughts are the language we use. So some of us will have to take certain language and words out of our vocabulary and bring in other words that we've never used before. That's how basic and simple this is.
Love it. You are speaking my language, and I absolutely, I absolutely adore you and adore what you are doing. I know that our paths will continue to cross, and we will have a great journey together because we share so many things. And so I want to tell all of those folks here on the plant-based diet who are listening, you must check out Dorit and what she is doing on her YouTube channel at Green Lifestyle Films, of course at her website, serenityspaces.org, and we will continue to support you as I know you are supporting us as well, and I think we can raise the bar to more than 1 million with people like you supporting us.
Thank you, and for anybody coming to the San Diego Vegetarian Festival this weekend, my talk is at midday, and I would love to just connect with people and find out where people are in their lives and what brought them to that place, because like I told you, people's stories are what are really interesting to me. And I encourage people to go to the San Diego Vegetarian Festival. Not only is it an uplifting event and a very educational event, but it's a place where one can meet people. I think the people whose company we keep are that's critical in our lives. You can meet other people whose lives are going upward despite anything else happening to pull them down in their lives, and they have the tools that we might feel we're lacking at the time. I think there's a reason why we need each other, why we all must come together at certain points. I think solitude is critical, but I think also socialization is, and I think this is a grand opportunity for people to come together and find people whose thoughts, belief systems, and mindset would enrich their own lives.
Very well said. Dorit, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you being on the call with us. And yes, collaboration is key. That's how we can affect change. So thank you once again. We will see you at the San Diego Veg Festival. It's November 9th, 10 a.m. in the North Park area. Look for more at sandiego-vegfestival.com. Thank you, Dorit.
Thank you, Phoebe.
You've been listening to the Plant-Based Diet Podcast. Please be sure to join us on November 9th at the San Diego Veg Festival in North Park from 10 in the morning to 5 o'clock. Learn more at sandiego-vegfestival.com. Also, very important, read, sign, and share the Plant-Based Challenge Pledge to get 1 million people to live a plant-based lifestyle and effect healthy change in our food industry and healthcare systems. Together, we can make a difference. I'm Phoebe Chongchua. Until the next time, eat fit, keep fit, and live fit on the Plant-Based Diet.